Welcome everyone to the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. I'm your host Michael Pickering. That's right, Lo-Fi's and low fidelity, low quality, in your face, messy as can be global news show. Here we're going to talk about that famous question: what's going on in the world today? We'll be covering 5 headlines from across the globe. Straight to it, the news, fresh off the press. Source: Reuters World News, Technology section. Deepfake used to attack activist couple shows new disinformation frontier. I chose this story for one very simple reason. Because if you never heard of deepfakes yet, Lo-Fi listener, it's time to get you up to speed. A deepfake is the ability to take the likeness of a person and use it to create either a video or photo with that person in it, with one big exception. It's not the real person. Deepfakes are not new, although it's only been a couple of years that they're really out, and they are really, really good quality. From the naked eye, you cannot tell the difference. This is not the CGI computer technology from movies. This is different. In this headline, a person was used/created, built digital footprints for, and then submitted articles to newspapers for publishing. This is different than using a pseudonym or a pen name and then publishing. This is straight deception, saying you're someone you're not, and letting others believe it on purpose. There are ways to detect deepfakes, but those are highly specialized technology companies that have the means to do so. Keep your eyes open out there, Lo-Fi Nation. Next up, source: BBC World News. Belarus election. Hundreds protest after Lukashenko's rival barred. That's right, we're talking about one of the few countries that are more authoritarian than Russia and still accuse Russia of election meddling, as if their president needed any help with that. President Lukashenko has been in power since the fall of the Soviet Union and the independence of the country. Recently, his election commission denied the 2 main contenders from next month's presidential election. One, for not collecting enough signatures for their application, and the other, for having criminal charges brought against them last month, which were likely politically motivated, that way they could not run in the election. We'll be watching Belarus closely as next month's elections get closer. Now moving forward, because we never move on from anything. Source: BBC News, World Section. Azerbaijan protesters demand war after Armenia clashes. Geography lesson, Lo-Fi Nation. Armenia and Azerbaijan are east of Turkey, in Central Asia, south of Russia and Georgia. These 2 former Soviet satellite states have been in an off and on state of conflict since 1991 when the Union dissolved. Recently, border clashes have erupted over a disputed region that is technically part of Azerbaijan, but controlled by Armenian people. As of yesterday, 16 people were killed in these clashes, and now the protesters in Azerbaijan are calling for war. Let's slow down for a second, peeps. We all want to make it to Good News Friday. There's protesting for rights, protesting against violence or discrimination, even protesting against war. But protesting because you want to go to war? Yeah, let's just slow down on this Thursday morning. We'll keep you updated as the situation continues to develop. Next up, source: AP News International. Taiwan holds military drills against potential China threat. So much has been going on with China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and the US. Let's get you caught up. The U.S. has imposed sanctions on certain individuals in China involved in the internment camps in West China dealing with the Uyghur population. The U.S. has ended the special status of Hong Kong, and now it will be legally viewed the same as Beijing. Lockheed Martin, a U.S. arms company, was cleared to sell over $600 million worth of military equipment to Taiwan. China has put sanctions on Lockheed Martin. China has put sanctions on Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio. I know, no one really knows why. China will put more sanctions on more people. The U.S. will put more sanctions on more people. And today, Taiwan is doing military drills. Whew. So I think that's pretty much where we are today, in this, let's call it a situation. Things are heating up. Let's hope they'll chill out pretty soon. We'll be updating this story for sure as we continue moving forward. And a last piece of news from the AP Oddity section to send you on your way for the day. And warning, listener, it's a weird one indeed. Cheeky corpse. Georgia detectives discover body is sex doll. Yes, I know, but wait. So in this small town in Georgia, USA, someone reported to the police that a woman's body was near some railroad tracks. Police immediately responded and were waiting on the coroner because they cannot touch a deceased body until the coroner arrives. So once this happens, the coroner and deputies start checking the body for injuries, and it was not until this point, apparently, that they realized it was a fully clothed sex doll. Okay, 2 things. 1, we should all be happy it's not a real person that died. And 2, the implications of the amount of time it took authorities to realize it was a sex doll. Well, I'll let you, Lo-Fi Nation, come up with your own implications on that one. And that's a brief snapshot of what's going on in the world today. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode of Good News Friday. Always remember that Lofi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Write in with questions or comments to lofipolisci@planetmail.com. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Wash those hands. And I'll see you on the next episode of the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. Pickering, signing off.